senior leader of a tribe did something unprecedented. He verbally protested against President Ibrahim Traoré himself in a very sacred ritual. In a gathering where everyone was present, he loudly stated that Traoré's regime was over and that spirits had left him and tragedy followed him. Wherever he tread, the entire assembly fell silent. The guests held their breaths, waiting for the troops to burst into the scene and lead the old man away. But then came the unexpected actions taken by President Ibrahim that surprised not only his security team but the whole country and changed the future of the forgotten tribes of the north forever. And this is where the story really begins. Before we continue, let's pause for 1 second. What time is it in your time zone? And from which country are you streaming this broadcast from? Just post it in the comments. And remember to click the like button on this video and subscribe to the Commander Ibrahim Traoré channel to become one of the members of the Commander Ibrahim Traoré community. There are reasons why this event is remembered to date. Wait until the end. The blistering sun is overhead in the secluded. The reaction is immediate. 3 stout soldiers move forward as one, their hands clutching their guns, prepared to drag the old chief away. The onlookers involuntarily take a step back. This is what they have always known: oppressive leaders muffling any soul bold enough to tell them the truth. Fear is contagious. This creates suffocating tension. Chief Bamogo is not one to back down. He looks the president straightforwardly in the face, as if preparing himself to be shackled, or worse. But President Ibrahim Traoré does something that no one expected. He does not yell. He never argues. He doesn't turn and leave. Rather, he holds up his right hand sternly and gives his security team one command: stand down. Step back now. The soldiers freeze, confused. The chief dares publicly to dishonor the head of state, a threat. Yet Traoré never takes his eyes from Bamogo. And then, slowly, deliberately, Ibrahim takes a step forward. He steps beyond the invisible line that the chief had marked on the ground. The whole village holds its breath. He moves right up to the anger of the elder until he is inches away from him, face to face. And here the pain is etched across Ibrahim's face. Real pain, obvious pain. He does not deliver an apology or express his condolences. Rather, he kneels slightly and touches the little sandals. I didn't know, Ibrahim says quietly, and that is why I cursed you. Chief Bamogo bursts out in fury. Because I warned them. I sent them letters. I sent my own nephew to the city regional governor. I begged them to help. The chief's voice is shaking in rage. I told them the mining company was killing us. Your governor sent my nephew away. He said it was approved development. He said we were blocking progress. Ibrahim turns his back on the villagers and turns to his own people. The advisors, the officials, the men in shiny shoes and pressed suits. There is, as if it goes cold, there is dust suspended in the air. Nobody is moving. Ibrahim's eyes fix on a man standing towards the back. He continues, who turns out to be the governor of the region, Mr. Dio. Dio is impeccably dressed, his suit far too rich for such a village. Perspiration drips down his face, even in the shade. He raises Ibrahim is standing at the edge of the river, observing the poisonous mud flow towards the village. This is what is termed as authorized development. He turns to Governor Dio, who is pressing his handkerchief against his face. This is what you approved? Ibrahim asks calmly. His voice is calm, too calm. Dio swallows. The paperwork, Mr. President, environmental impact assessments, said there would be little consequence. I did not realize it would be this serious. Ibrahim takes his phone out of his pocket. The narrator continues to describe the actions. 1 call. 3 words. Send the helicopter. He hangs up and turns his gaze towards the mining camp. A big guy in a hard hat is already storming towards them, obviously angry at the intrusion of strangers onto what he thinks is protected turf. The dust and noise obscure the identity of the president, and before he gets there, he begins yelling, "Get off this property, you are trespassing." Ibrahim comes forward. Something much more explosive is about to go down on the banks of that toxified river than has ever been witnessed in the capital. The foreman is a man who believes himself. The governor believes he has. Ibrahim suddenly seizes Governor Dio by the collar of his perfect Italian suit and pulls him from the air cabin and back into the heat. A cloud of dust envelops him as he leads him straight down to the riverbank, where the orange foam caps bubble with poisonous life. "Look at it," Ibrahim shouts, pushing Dio towards the water. "This is your consulting. This is your so-called development. Chief Bamako and the onlookers are left agape. They've never witnessed anything like this. Never. Strong men can shake hands and smile in front of the cameras, leaving the wretched to remain quietly in the dark. But this is different. Suddenly, the thunderous beating of helicopter blades cuts through the air. The plane that Ibrahim has ordered appears over the edge of the trees, churning leaves and dust into a furious whirl as it thunders down. It lands roughly close to the mining camp. Elite military police spill out, weapons lifted high, faces etched in intense concentration. Ibrahim doesn't hesitate. Arrest all of them, he orders, pointing at the foreman and the construction crew. Lock down all machines. One truck leaving this installation, and you will be answering to me. The roar gets nearer. It's the sound of thousands of citizens spilling into the streets around the ministry. They heard the broadcast, they heard the confession, and now they want justice. Ibrahim now directs his attention to General Kabore. I don't need to arrest you, he says calmly. I just need to protect you from them. Councillor Kabore slumps into his chair in utter despair. The coup is over before it really gets underway. The coup fails before it, with Kabore being dragged away by military police in handcuffs. The general leans forward and whispers one final threat. You think water was the only thing we sold? He hisses. Check the eastern grain silos. They're empty. We sold the reserves weeks ago. Ibrahim freezes. And famine is on its way. Mr. President, Kabore presses on. You can't shoot a famine. The words sting harder than a bullet. The adrenaline rush subsides, and a chill of terror takes over. The corruption was not only about the poisoning of the rivers, but the destruction of the country's food supply. Just before the dry season, Ibrahim swiftly goes to the window. Outside, crowds of people cheer and wave flags in celebration of victory. They know cameras, no reporters. Without air conditioning, only two presidents in the room, seated across from each other at a blank metal table in the hangar. Circed president leans back in his chair with his arms folded across his chest, observing Ibrahim very intently. You want 500 tons of grain tonight, and then carried across the border. Kuta spoke slowly. I respect you, Ibrahim, but this isn't charity. Your government is unstable, so I am told, he continued, his eyes showing irritation with this situation. Ibrahim does not argue. He gives a small nod to the guards. The two of them move forward, setting a reinforced steel crate upon the table. The snaps open. Gold, raw, and unrefined bars glimmer brightly in the harsh lighting of the hangar. I'm not asking for credit, he continues, leaning in. This gold has been stolen from my people. I am using it to buy them back. He pushes the crate ahead. Weigh it. Take all of it. Just give me the trucks. Kuta looks at the gold, then at Ibrahim. He sees desperation, but more than that, he sees integrity, a leadership that is willing to sell national gold for the purpose. The winds were screaming through the canyon. Rain pounded against the roof in sheets. President Ibrahim Traoré was on the point of attempting something that no head of state in recorded history has ever had the courage to do before, the physical act that might either save his country or send his body crashing to the rocky crags below. He swung out into the abyss, the steel cable stretched to its limit, when suddenly, bang, there was a gunshot coming from above. The loyalists who'd demolished the bridge were far from finished. An ambush had been set up for anyone attempting a crossing of the gorge. A bullet ricocheted off the steel cable just inches from Ibrahim's hand. A second one echoed off the support beams. 300 feet below, the river was roaring. The mission, the grain, and even the president's life were hanging by a thread. But Ibrahim didn't hesitate. He did not scream. He did not hesitate, as a gymnast landing a perfectly executed routine. He swung on the cable to the side of the riverbank and rolled into the thick mud with bullets ripping into the ground. Just out of his last known location. He picked up Chief Bamako sat at the heart of the village. Head hung low. He thought everything was ruined because of the curse. Then comes the distant rumble through the valley. Dust began rising on the horizon. The trucks finally arrived, weighed down with grain, and then with water tankers containing fresh, clean water from emergency storage. Ibrahim stepped down out of the lead vehicle. Mud smeared his face, blood stained his knuckles. He walked right to Chief Bamako. The village was quiet. They were seeing the man that they had cursed. He was alive, unbroken, and triumphant. Ibrahim gave the order. His men started unloading maize, millet, and rice, enough to sustain the region for months. Bamako slowly stood up. He looked at the grain, at the water, then at Ibrahim. 80 years of observations of the taking without.